Hello, this is kind of an extension of the vlog I made a little bit earlier about bullying and the dislike of the unlike. Now, this is probably one of the most difficult and perhaps controversial topics that I've ever mentioned on here, and I'm not sure if anybody is going to want to see this or even acknowledge that it's possible because, well, even I have trouble dealing with it. But recent things that I've read about or heard about from other people have given me to understand one of the most unpleasant parts of bullying. And that's how it affects the dynamic within the family. Now, this is quite horrible. When I was a young boy, a little younger than 10, maybe 8 or 9, when I went to school, I encountered a fair share of what I call junior grade bullies. Kids who would make you run bicycle chicken races and then run away laughing if you got hurt or things like that. Nothing really life-threatening or really that serious, but it was still bullying and it still was not very positive. What really made me start to wonder and made me very angry, as a matter of fact, is when I realized that the reason why these young children bullied others was because their mothers and their fathers, mostly their fathers, bullied the children themselves in the name of discipline. Now, I've heard it time and time again that the reason that bullying exists in schools is because lawyers and litigation do not allow for the teachers to discipline their children or discipline the other students or whatever. Now, that bothers me a lot, especially when they talk about the parents not being able to discipline children. Depending on who the parent is, there are very different definitions of what discipline means. Some discipline is very positive and based on accountability. For example, if you are a child who mischievously break somebody's birdhouse, and the parents say, well, you have to sacrifice your allowance to pay for it. That's positive, reasonable discipline, and I support that. But if a child makes a mistake on his homework, and the father, say, slaps the child in the head and calls him a name, calls him stupid or ignorant or dumb, I'm sorry. I don't care how you cut it. That is definitely bullying. And in a child's impressionable mind, if they go and treat other students that way, then it's bullying. Again, it's second-generation bullying. And the people who do that to their children, chances are they were disciplined, as they call it, the same way. I don't think society has drawn fine enough lines between a discipline and child abuse that they should be. And that abuse doesn't have to be physical necessarily. It can be verbal. And the people who do it may not even realize they're doing it. And that's part of the really scary thing. Out of all the bullies that I knew, we used to have actually a counseling group, like a support group in one of the classes I went to back at school, where they would bring everybody together, bullies, victims of them, and we'd all talk about our backgrounds. And when you listen to the backgrounds of the bullies, and when they talked, you noticed that it ran deep in their family. The seeds of violence and anger ran deep. And these people might be functional members of society. But the bullying and the anger ran so deep that it reflected on the children. And that, to me, I don't even really know how to address that, personally. I haven't wanted to mention it in the vlog. It's a hard subject to talk about, because parents are supposed to protect their children. They're supposed to be there to nurture them and to help them in dealing with life, especially if the child is differently abled in some way or has some sort of issue that may be difficult for a parent to understand. They may have a disability that's kind of trying. They may, in fact, be gay or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But the fact that a parent who brought a child into the world would actually go as far as to inflict their personal conflicts and their personal troubles onto their child, well, literally on the verge of tears right now. It's just kind of hard to bear. And it's hard for me to talk about. I don't really know if I can talk about it much longer. But as far as bullying is concerned, that element, the lack of distinction between discipline and abuse, with teachers and parents too, I'm saying both of them. I have heard stories on both sides where the line between abuse and discipline is often trodden between. There needs to be a very distinct line. How many more damaged generations do we have to live through before we realize the error of our own ways? It's a rhetorical question, but I think it needs to become less so. I think there needs to be an answer. I don't want to see other generations have to go through what some of the members of mine did. And I have to admit, some of these people who were bullied and may have become bullied themselves, they're of my generation. They were in their 30s or 20s when this happened, and they have been lost to death. They have been lost in war, or they have been lost in crime-related incidences, and that deeply pains me. Do I wish that on their parents? No. But I would like to hope that it teaches them and every other parent a lesson. Lift your soul, not your hand, against your child, or raise your voice against an injustice. Don't raise your voice against your child. It's been said over and over again. People tend to see it as an empty slogan, but it really shouldn't be done. It causes nothing but damage from the people that you're actually supposed to trust. I apologize to all of you for making such a sad vlog, but I wanted to get my views out there and let people know. Please just stop doing that. Whatever you do, please, parents, teachers, understand the difference with children between discipline and abuse. That's all I want to say. Thank you.